Hello and welcome to PMQ's Kitchen. I'm Brian Hernandez, and with me here today I have John Arena, owner of Metro Pizza in Las Vegas, Nevada. So how are you today, John?
I'm great. Any day that I can get my hands on pizza dough, I'm happy.
That's spectacular. So what are we going to be making today in this kitchen?
We're going to do a Brazilian stuffed pepperoni bread. Very popular in São Paulo. Every pizzeria sells this, and it's something that you can do using the ingredients that you already have in your kitchen.
Okay, great. What is our first step here in making this Brazilian bread?
The first step is to remember that the dough is alive,
okay.
Which means that you have to handle it like it's alive. Right? We want it to be nice and warm, so it's comfortable. Okay, so we take it out an hour and a half before we're going to actually use it.
Okay.
Let it relax a little bit, and then we're going to stretch it out very gently. We're never going to let a rolling pin touch this dough.
Okay.
Okay. The rolling pin just beats it up and makes it tough. We want the dough we want the crumb structure to really open up when the dough rises. We don't want to beat it up. We don't want it to get tough and rubbery. We want to handle it as gently as possible, and that's true of everything that we do in our pizza kitchen. Okay. Right? No rolling pins. These are our rolling pins.
No rolling pins.
Okay.
No rolling pins. So how much? What was the weight of this dough ball?
Okay, this is about a 20-ounce dough ball. And we're going to use. You can use 3 to 4 of them in this bread.
Okay.
It's going to be a thick, high bread with really nice eye appeal. Something that you could put in a display case and you can sell by the slice.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is just press it out, and if it springs back, we know that our dough isn't ready.
It's not ready. Okay.
You know, the key to making great pizza dough is the key ingredient is time. Not time the spice, but time the measurement.
Oh.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we're just going to spread some salami out.
Okay.
Now we're going to spread some salami out.
Sounds good. Now, like on a pizza, they usually have a raised crust. On this, do we want any kind of crust or how?
No, because we're going to roll this up like a cinnamon roll.
Okay, so we want it to be just consistently flat all around, same level. Okay, great. It smells good. Is this what kind of salami do you recommend?
I would use Genoa.
Okay.
Okay, but you can experiment with that. You know,
right.
and some people will mix a little cheese in there with it too.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so let's roll this up.
Okay, just kind of flip it over.
Yep. Brian, I already know how to do this. It's your turn.
Awesome. I'm just waiting to get my hands on this. So do you want this tight, or just kind of let it?
No, let it be a loose roll. We're gonna give it a rise for several hours.
Okay.
Okay.
We want to just kind of crimp the edges here.
Yep.
Couple that we already had ready to go.
Okay.
Step number 2.
We oiled this pan with some olive oil.
Okay.
We want to make sure that our bread doesn't stick to it. Okay, so we're going to just coil this into the pan.
And you've got a smooth edged bundt pan here?
Yep.
Versus the traditional?
Right, it's not scalloped. It's going to be smooth.
Great.
Okay, we're going to just put a little black pepper on this dough. And we're going to take some sliced pepperoni and just kind of press it in there. Kind of add another little dimension of flavor.
Right, layers upon layers here. All right.
Let's get that second roll. Go ahead. Now we put the seam on this side on this one. Let's put the seam over here on this one. Okay.
So alternate the seams.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to tell you. Do you want to stretch it a little bit, or
Yep.
just kind of set it in there? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All righty.
And I'm going to take some sliced pepperoni and just kind of press it in there.
Just kind of push them in there just gently, or let them
Yeah, you can
fall?
just, yeah.
Okay.
Now dough's going to rise around it, and it's going to all just become one big loaf of bread.
Nice.
With some really beautiful texture because there's some airiness in there.
Okay. So we did put the last one up there and just switch the seam again. All You said we have to let this, we're going to let this rise for a few hours?
Yeah, we're going to let it rise in one place for several hours. Okay. Now, typically we'd let it rise overnight in a cooler, but...
In a pinch, you can...
Sure.
Kind of help. Like placing it on top of the oven, the heat will help it rise a little faster. So.
Yeah. But I want to protect it, you know, so I'm going to cover it a little bit with some plastic, so it doesn't dry out, so the top doesn't dry out. And you can go additional layers if you like. Now this is 60 ounces of dough already, plus the salami, so this is already pretty formidable. Okay, so you know, depending on how high you want to go, you know, sometimes I'll go 4 layers if I want to do like one that's really, really big and showy. Okay. Okay. But you know, it's something that you're going to want to display. You want people to see it. You'll cut, and when you display it in your case, you're going to cut a piece out so people can see the inside of it. So you can see what's going on in there.
A little bit of pepper on there. Now, as they saw earlier, when we pulled this out, it didn't snap back. What's the reasoning behind that? Because a lot of times people will be stretching out their dough and it shrinks back down. What's the
If your dough is over blistering or snapping back, which in baking terms we call memory, typically we'll do a long fermentation, and that's where we're getting all the flavors from. And if the dough is snapping back, it's because the gluten strands, the protein strands in the dough have not relaxed yet. Okay. Think of the gluten strands as being like a telephone cord. Okay. If anybody remembers what a telephone cord was. Okay. There used to be this thing attached to the phone that was coiled up and would snap back when you released it. Well, you have gluten strands in your dough that are just like that, that are coiled up. Over time, those gluten strands will be relaxed, and when you stretch your dough, it will stay exactly where you put it. You could see that when we stretched this dough today. Right. As we stretched it out, it didn't stretch back at all. Exactly. It didn't snap back at all. Okay. So we're going to find a warm place for this on top of our pizza oven.
All right, so we are back with our Brazilian salami bread. Right. And we've let it proof for, it's been 3 hours? 3
or 4 hours, probably. Okay. Yeah.
So now it's risen a lot more, kind of sealed itself up. And what's the next step here?
We're ready to bake. Okay. And because this is so thick and it's being baked in a pan, we're actually going to go at a lower temperature. Okay. So we're going to put this in the regular oven. Now, typically in pizzerias in Brazil, what they'll do is they'll turn the oven down at night and come in they'll turn it down to 425, and then they'll put this in the morning. Okay. And then before they open, they'll bake it off, sell it during the day, and then as soon as it's baked, they turn their oven back up to 550. Turn their oven back up. Okay.
So we got this oven at 425. How long we're going to bake this for?
Every oven is different, but we're going to say 30 to 35 minutes.
30 to 35 minutes. Okay, great.
Okay, we're trying to get an internal temperature of about 205. Okay. Which is typical for bread. Okay. Okay, most breads fully form and solidify at about 205 degrees.
Okay. So we're back with our Brazilian salami bread.
Right. And what we're going to do now is we're going to slice off a little bit of the top, just so that it's even all the way around. Okay. And then we're going to put it back in the oven and toast it up a little bit. And then we'll be finished. And we can sell this, put it in the display case and sell it by the slice.
By the slice. So that took us about 35 minutes on that, and then we let it cool for a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to let it cool for at least a half hour.
At least a half hour, okay. Now we've given it a haircut, taken off its top. Mm-hmm. Back in here, and we're going to set it back in the oven for...
Just 2 or 3 minutes. We're just going to let that top firm up a little bit and get browned.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
We're going to let that cool down, and then we'll cut it into slices.
All right, so we're back. Our bread is cooled down, and as you can see, we've flipped it over to leave the pristine bottom, which is now our top. All right. So we're just gonna do.
You always have to resist the temptation to cut it too soon. Right.
Okay, so we're just gonna do one slice for now. Yeah. Okay. And we don't want to cut all the slices right away. Why is that?
The more air is the enemy of bread. Okay. The more air that gets at it, the quicker it's going to get stale.
Okay. Okay. So cut it as needed. Now, look at that. That is awesome. It's like a cinnamon roll.
Only salami.
A salty, meaty cinnamon roll.
And you can do anything. You can put salami in here. You can put cooked vegetables, zucchini, mushrooms. Some people like to put cheese in them. Okay? You know, whatever your imagination tells you to do.
Yeah,
but the principle is going to be the same. It's going to be rolled up into coils and then stacked and allowed to rise.
Spectacular. All right. I'm going to dive right into this one because we've been looking at it all day. So, here we go. Put it down and walk away.
Okay.
That was spectacular. Once again, John Arena has showed us some amazing things we can do with stuff you already have in your pizzeria. So we urge everybody to start trying these recipes. And let us know online at PMQ's Facebook. Let us know how it goes. So once again, thank you for joining us here in the PMQ kitchen. We'll see you next time. Also, be sure to subscribe or renew your subscription to PMQ Pizza Magazine at pmq.com/subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.